Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today I do have for you a 1 versus 1 on Beaux Lowlands. Yes, indeed, it's been a bit of a while since we had a lovely trip through the lowlands. Who shall be fighting? Well, in the southern corner, it shall be DonkeyMonkey23. Something tells me he's not been very original. Well, I don't think that matters in the US Army, though. He is fighting for the Americans, as you might have sort of casually noticed, those who are rather eagle-eyed. Fighting for the 4th Infantry Division, possibly. Opposing him shall be Stein87. Stein once more leading the way, hopefully with a bit more gusto this time around. Fighting for the Panzer, fighting for the 17th SS Panzergrenadier Division, Kurz von Berlichingen, as they're trying to hold somewhere out around France. And in fact, let's get right down to it. Let's not dilly-dally about. Kittencrad can't seem to really get away, though, chucking towards the east, towards the munitions and fuel points, of course, rather high here. A bit of high and have fun. Barracks up immediately for DonkeyMonkey, though he seems a bit unsure where to... Oh, my apologies. To place it. Placing it neither close to here or close to there, so a bit of indecision right there on DonkeyMonkey23. Arse Ape, not really being the decisive term. Personal. Ass Ape, actually, whatever it's supposed. Arse being an actual arse, nonetheless. Me trying to be witty and then sort of realizing something gone wrong. With 3 engineers, he's of course going to secure as much territory right here off the bat. Of course, this being a rather large map, he certainly feels he can get away with that, and that's certainly not an entirely impossibility. But of course, if he runs into some nasty Panzergrenadiers, perhaps with Gewehr 43s, he might casually run into a few issues right there, of course. Further Panzergrenadiers joining in. Stein87 leading the way. And interesting enough, he's going first for the fuel, then for the munitions. A bit of an odd camping order, I'd say. Rather means you actually end up sort of taking a circumstitious route, which would actually take longer if you just went for that and then there. And yes, indeed, Stein87 pushing hard for the fatherland. Engineers taking up position in this rather curious wooden structure. Not entirely sure what to refer to that as. And then Stein apparently sort of waiting up for some other Panzergrenadiers to join the first ones. Gewehr 43s with some of them. Gewehr 43s for some of the others not. Engineers are continuing towards west, and we'll be seeing some riflemen very soon. Engineers continuing towards here. The 3rd Panzergrenadier team joining Stein87. And then he's going straight for the cutoff point, that cheeky fellow. And of course, nice little detail here. He's not using the Gewehr 43 equipped Panzergrenadiers to actually check the point. He's using the unupgraded ones, using the Gewehr 43 equipped Panzergrenadiers to actually cover his troops. Good move right there, and there we go, cut off pretty early on. Rather than rushing right into some Panzergrenadiers, in particular those with Gewehr 43s. Who again can basically just fire away without issue right off the bat, so that's certainly an advantage right there for Stein87. A nice little bit of harassment, a nice little bit of tactics there as well. Jolly nice to see that. Jolly nice. Rifleman though apparently just switching route towards the centre, though again he's going to be hurting a bit there because he delayed his rifleman and again went to sort of as much as possible territory, and again now he doesn't actually have control of most of it, and Panzer's actually take up position there. That could be less grand. 2nd Kettencard joining in for Stein87. Nothing further from him, though, it seems. No Panzergrenadiers, no structures. Could he be going for an armoured car rush? Could our little Stein do that? I don't know. Though it seems a bit of a waste to keep those Panzergrenadiers inside there. And yeah, sort of waiting, hoping to pass. Yet the watchful gaze of the Panzergrenadiers mean that's going to be a rather painful experience if they try to. Looks like there's a bit of indecision on Stein87 what to do. Wait for the American to make his move or what? Come on, Stein, make a decision. And again, sort of odd capping order. He goes straight for this one first. Now the rifleman heading towards the centre. Watch what his Panzergrenadiers do. Kittencrad moving about, and we are seeing a bit of barbed wire here, perhaps hoping to cover his flanks. Also barbed wire impedes the Kittencrad, so that can work. Kittencrad's now pulling away, so centre being secure. There's absolutely nothing to react there. Oh dear, Stein, what are you doing? Stein, what are you doing? Kampfgruppe company going up. Reacting with extreme force and prejudice towards one team of engineers. Moving in as many Panzergrenadiers as they can absolutely muster. 9, that's quite excessive. And again, remember, stand still, stand still. Stand still, Stein. Was that a bit too complex for you? I might pardon Now, although Kettenkrad quickly coming under fire from the engineers, Stein is about rank 12, and I believe his opponent might also be around that. Or at least 11 or 10, but Kampfgruppe Company is up. What shall he do next? Another structure? Will he be actually getting something out of that Kampfgruppe Company? And the engineers down there seem to have been forgotten.
Forward supply line.
But no longer. Kettenkrad being hunted down. Less good, less good. And now larger engagement right here. And the American commander returning in the favor, going straight for the cutoff point. And Stein actually pulling back, needs to retreat his Panzers. Why didn't he just stand his ground there, I suppose? Rather than though are suppressed. Kettenkrad going for the central point. Panzers here need to get moving. And looks like he might be getting an infantry attack or something else from that building. Grenades on the way for DonkeyMonkey. My goodness, and now his Kettenkrad's running into a problem. But again, move it. Los. Infantry attack ready. Probably on the length from either those reconnaissance battalions lent from either the 9th or 10th SS, as the 9th, 17th actually got both of those. I believe those have actually been the half-track ones. But these Panzers need to retreat. A bit unfortunate there, but again, move the force you have in the base. Come on. Apparently getting another one, and Stein blaming it on the artificial intelligence, but of course this is 1944. What the hell devil is an artificial intelligence? Just being a bit cheeky, I fear. Infantry attack on the way, trying to desperately protect what remains. As the 17th says, it's suddenly getting rather throttled themselves of resources. Infantry attack charges ahead. I mean, a good tip here is actually try and get as close as possible to the rifle, unless of course you're suspecting sticky bombs, because that way you'll do more damage. And, you know, just generally do more damage, and of course a bit of a shock effect. But no, apparently not. Might want to then deal with these riflemen. Come on, Stein. Now breaking out here in a larger fashion. Another infantry half-tech ready. Kettenkrad's moving about here. Might want to be careful. It looks like DonkeyMonkey's actually laying down mines. That's good. Good to see, in fact, laying down several mines.
We're losing ground out there.
That is good. That is very good. That is what we like to see. Gentlemen. And possible gentle lady. Half-track, though, needs to keep up the pressure, so does the Wehrmacht in general. Kettenkrad, get it out of there, Stein! Save it! No! Looks like that was the world's luckiest Kettenkrad. Slow advance here. Right into a mine. There we go, damaged engine, though these engineers could still be in trouble. Lots of Gear 43s. And is he getting more infantry half-tracks? Or is he getting upgrades? What is he doing? Stein, I cannot read your mind yet. But Kettenkrad hiding on a little hill up here. Amazing, you actually don't really see this used very much. But fascinating to look at. Possibly you could sneak up through here? I'm not sure. But both infantry aircraft moving in towards the center, no points being taken, though he's finally moving towards taking what is his here, while losing what was his there. Riflemen attacking in force with grenades. BARs on the way as well. Riflemen really going heavily, and of course against the infantry half-tracks they can sort of get away with that if they can keep up the pressure. And of course with all the resources in nigh, I suppose you can also feel like that. And a grenade, though, be careful. Troops and infantry half-tracks can actually, there we go, one man down. I'm pretty sure the others are not in a good condition, but they can be damaged by grenades. It's a little known fact, but they can, and they can really do a lot of damage if you're not careful. So be very careful. But there we go. BAR's ready, although he did take a beating. No medic station. A trio center could also certainly be nice. And here we go. DonkeyMonkey, though, floating resources. That ever despicable thing. The floating of the resources, the one thing you do not like. Rather heavy harassment on both sides. Half section repaired. Another one on the move. With a batch of 17th SS Panzergrenadiers on the way. Mainly from Eastern Europe, more specifically Romania and Volksdeutsch as they were known, or ethnic Germans, who had basically decided they didn't have more fun in the SS rather than the Romanian army, which wasn't really known for being very nice to its troops. It was rather old-fashioned, and by old-fashioned I mean really old-fashioned. And that the only thing a good soldier needs is a good beating. Now that's sort of old-fashioned. But a Panzer support command going up. He might be expecting, of course, some sort of armored rush, but of course with the BARs, not entirely sensible, I think. I mean, it's not what he was to worry about. Plus, he's also seen grenades. I mean, that should rather key him into the fact that, my opponent might have used a lot of resources in infantry. Perhaps I should work towards that. Of course, he could get a Panzer IV or a Hotchkiss. Panzer still, as there we go, retreating. Infantry traffic, though, on its own. And looks like the Luftwaffe has been sent into support from some Luftwaffe flak unit, for all I know. Or, yeah, let's just say a Luftwaffe flak unit has been sent into support. Probably the more likely thing. They'll get them out of there. They're not bad. I mean, they're essentially a bit like Volksgrenadiers, and like Volksgrenadiers can be alright in the right positions. Though not charging into two rifle teams with BAR. If that's sort of the one situation you should generally never charge any infantry into, unless, of course, it's some veteran C3 stormtroopers with assault rifles. In that case, it might work. And this infantry after, oh dear, more mines. Again, good mining from DonkeyMonkey, the monkey of donkeys. Second infantry half-track moving up, and yes, he's getting an anti-tank half-track again. Not entirely convinced that was a good thing, but of course he's gone Luftwaffe now. The eyes as a Reichseagle shall watch over them. No, that's defensive as opposed to wings. By the way, though, Panzer is taking rather excessive losses. And the Luftwaffe, by the later stages of Corps, was pretty much more of a ground army in itself rather than an air force. With lots of different things, providing most of the anti-aircraft support, plus it had its own units, plus the Fallschirmjägers, plus that elite Hermann Göring Panzer Division. Now, of course, the question is, will his opponent go airborne? In which case, suppose Luftwaffe with its anti-aircraft support could do quite a bit of good. Certainly the anti-aircraft firepower they could muster was sort of interesting. But the Luftwaffe on the move again, expert repairmen, probably because they've worked as repair crews previously. If you know how to patch up an aircraft, then you probably also know how to patch up an armored half-track pretty quickly. But looks like one went down most tragically. Right here, as he once more trying to harass by this stage. He also needs this point, so he can't really do much. But anti-tank half-track moving up to support. Most of the punch of Stein is right here in the center. He needs to strike here rather swiftly, I think, before any mines are laid down. Looks like we are seeing defensive operations up for Stein, but again, floating resources. Not a good idea. He could consider either getting perhaps some more Luftwaffe troops, add in some more firepower, or some more Panzergrenadiers, or something else. And there we go. More Luftwaffe troops arriving in to aid. Other Luftwaffe troops being pushed away pretty swiftly. And another mine, and oh dear, he even got one of the Panzer Grenadiers. Poor Heinz got sent flying out. And now another push in the center, which of course there's absolutely nothing to protect against because both half-tracks are there. And of course, due to one getting damaged, oh wait, none of the engines are damaged. Quickly get them moving, Stein, and oh dear Stein, this is a massacre. Come on, Stein. Los, los. To the front. Come on, Stein. The fatherland is counting on you.
Go ahead, sir. On your feet. Let's go.
I said the fatherland is counting on you. Not Uncle Sam. But there we go. Veterancy for the infantry half-tech. Will he choose defensive or offensive? He goes for offensive, increasing the rate of fire and the accuracy. Jolly good, jolly good. That's only one way to do it, and there we go. Panzer is supported by Luftwaffe troops. Rather coming out a bit of fire there. Have to get quickly out of there, but again, manages to cut off the points. Lots of excessive harassment, but now this could be the end. Oh dear, forced retreat. Again, stand still. Stand still if you want to hit your targets. No, he's just hunting him down. He's hoping to perhaps get that last rifleman. But looks like Lucky Joe will be lucky once more. And a bit of... Has he... No, that's just another Luftwaffe troop. He then got more. Arriving here, fighting, and again losing to the might of the Luftwaffe. Well, I suppose might be overdoing it a bit. A quick push towards the center again. He needs to quickly reconnect and establish some ground once more. 17th SS, though, fighting hard. Arriving here in a rather sketchy position. No cover for them. BAR drop behind. Retreat. Retreat and secure that BAR man. And again, oh, he's gone for the tank depot. Never mind then. I still would say a medic station would have been nice. And a rifleman team finally goes down. BAR's left behind. Ample supplies. Which is going to make future endeavors that much more harder. But again, Stein, do not float resources. Do not float. I mean, you could go for a kitten crowd. You can get some upgrades. You can get another structure, like a logistic company. Get a scout car. Lots of things, you know. Just don't float resources if you'd be so kind. Again, it's setting a bad example for all the other players. Pretty bad one, in fact. It's a bit embarrassing. Anyways, Panzer is staying up. Good position right there. And of course, also note again to the sort of factors of Beaux Lowlands. I mean, it's also the best position to really react to. Attack here. He can react from here, or there, or there. I mean, this is pretty much the perfect reserve position. And he's actually got a medic station. My goodness, I was wrong. Although perhaps not the best position right there. Luftwaffe troops doing a bit of harassment right here. Nice to see that. Looks like he might be getting something out there. And another anti-tank half-tack. Stein being ready. And looks like an engineer force trying to sort of match its might against the Luftwaffe, but clearly being outclassed by these stoic Luftwaffe troops. Until, of course, the flamethrower appears, in which case they're screaming for their mothers. Typical Luftwaffe. Anyways, Kettenkrad taking a bit of fire, but quickly cloaking up. And tank destroyer moving towards the center. There's absolutely no defenses really there. And there we go. Hellcat spots its prey. Anti-tank half-tank opens up, though. Oh dear. One more shot, and this could be the end for the little half-track. Anti-tank half-track, though, moving in, immobilizing the tank destroyer. And quickly getting out of there. Rifle moving in, though. Oh, target the other anti-tank half-track. Target the other half-track. Target the one that's damaged, you tit. Where's he actually doing so? It's a bit hard to see. Probably, of course, the Luftwaffe troops. So in that case, you know, shoot the Luftwaffe first, then shoot the other thing. Though in this case, I mean, also be careful. You know, I mean, 2 infantry half-tanks are a lot. Oh my goodness, Panzergrenadier team went down, Rifleman team went down. Luftwaffe troops took heavy losses, and oh dear, someone got stuck in the half-tank. I can't look. Well, I can, but you know, it looks silly. Oh, I mean, come on. How do you even manage that? But looks like Martyrs are on the way for the force on the 17th SS, and they did have Martyr 3s. Was it the Martyr 2 with the Soviet gun? Which was actually better than the Pak 40, though. Well, let's not get into those details, but thing was, though, the 17th SS was supposed to have Jagdpanzer 4s, which were, well, basically better than the Martyr in that it actually had armor and some MGs. But it didn't quite get there. So they had to rely on Martyrs. A Panzergrenadier Hunt moving in. No 50 caliber though for the Hellcat. That could have been nice. I mean, do not underestimate a 50 caliber on your vehicles. It can do quite nicely against infantry. Trust me, I've been on the receiving end. Looks like he's a bit cooling down. He's a bit lacking in infantry, having lost a few teams. Though with more tank destroyers. Imamir. It looks like more forces on the way here for Stein87. He's clearly holding the advantage. For the moment, though. Looks like even the Luftwaffe troops have gained some BARs now. It's elite Luftwaffe Jägers. And moving against one rifleman team. Firing from the tree line. Riflemen in a slightly unfortunate position as they're moving in. And themselves only with 1 BAR. Hellcat moving in. Will there be a larger force to support the Luftwaffe troops? No. And all of a sudden things look pretty bad. First Marder 3 has arrived.
We must protect our munitions from enemy advances.
Rifleman also on sneakiness. Coming under fire from the Panzergrenadiers with automatics. Infantry half-track as well, though, has to be careful. And he's... Why is he rushing in like that? And he just wasted an infantry half tank. That was absolutely brilliant. It looks like assault rifles have been equipped for some of his Panzergrenadiers. Rifleman in a slightly unforced position, and he's actually got some Panzerschrecks. Panzerschrecks, lovely. That should help a bit, rather than getting squashed. Some offensive veterancy for those Panzerschreck wielders would be nice. Against that tank destroyer, and he's got armor. He's using field repairs. He's using field repairs. Come on, shoot it. Shoot it. Oh, get those chaps. Oh, dear. Defensive veterancy. Defensive. And there we go. He could be losing an anti-tank. Yes, there we go. Half-track saved, but he needs to get out of there. And, oh dear, Mana getting the other tank destroyer. That was a rather vicious engagement, which eventually, though, ended up pretty badly for Monkey Donkey or Donkey Monkey, whatever he likes to be called, as long as it involves donkeys and monkeys, which of course could be an indicator that he might have some certain tastes. But it's actually time for the mid-game analysis, and currently, I mean, clearly Stein is holding the advantage. I mean, he's Mr. Donkey Monkey has certainly pushed hard. He's been aggressive, but he's clearly also made some mistakes. Among others, you know, floating resources, again, one of those cardinal mistakes. The one thing you should always sort of try to stray away from. But at the same time, I mean, great, he got a medic station. Less great, he's fighting far away from it. I mean, if you sort of try to place your medic stations also in anticipation of where you will do most of your fighting. And if it's not, you know, perhaps consider getting another one. In that case, you know, you'll get more medics to sort of also help with that problem with the wounded. One thing to consider, he might also consider getting some artillery. Perhaps a mortar would be helpful. And otherwise, he needs to coordinate his tank destroyers. I mean, he had one here and then one there. He was basically allowing them to get picked apart on their own. Not good tactics. But otherwise, he really needs to work his units preservation down to 3 units. That's considered less good. But clearly, he's not given up. He's perhaps of the same stuff that B Creative is made of, which of course could mean that Donkey Monkey in the long run might of course be a contender for something great. On the other hand, for Stein, you know, he needs to be more Stein, more stone, be more manly. He might want to himself consider unit preservation. He might consider Panthers, a Panzer IV or Hotchkiss, whatever he has. And of course, establishing a defensive line, he needs to control this. In that case, he might consider a flak feeling to protect, or perhaps a flak 88 if he can get that. Certainly the possibilities are many. But let's return to this fight. And of course, he also needs to stop rushing in his half-tanks right in front of tank destroyers if he doesn't have Panzergrenadiers to support them. We're doing alright here. Some pretty vicious squads with Panzerschrecks and bars. And not the candy variant. Engineers coming out a pretty heavy fire from the Panzergrenadiers, Panzerschreck flying but not really connecting. Also, fun fact, the Panzer Elite Panzerschreck is actually weaker than the Wehrmacht Panzerschreck. I believe it's less accurate and does less damage. Something like that. Harassment though continues from Donkey Monkey. Seeing more tank destroyers, but again he's floating resources. I think he sort of might be hiding resources for a Pershing, but I mean, sort of consider his current situation in terms of what he has on the battlefield. I can't help but wonder if he might not want to consider something else. And now these riflemen are running through the gauntlet of German fire. And riflemen down. Less spectacular, but securing the center, but again unsupported. He has to be careful. More tank destroyers. He's clearly lining up for some sort of armored assault. Riflemen need to be careful, and of course he needs to get some infantry. Infanterie. GIs, boots on the ground. Grenadier against the Panzergrenadiers. Choosing the wrong retrieve path, but in this case it looks like they will be saved. Luftwaffe troops moving up as well. No 50 calibers there. Again, would recommend it. And again, I'd also recommend spending all those resources, not just hoping for the might of the Pershing to eventually bail you out, because I don't entirely think that's going to work. No entirely sure why he's rushing in his engineers against those Luftwaffe troops, and he's moving in against the base.
Losing a point out enemy unit,
which of course might force Stein to abandon, yes indeed, the front lines, to move back to his base to save what saved can be. Flak feeling already down. And there we go, Panzer's arrived. Oh dear, some of them actually getting shot up by the tank destroyers. Stein, he needs to work a bit on his manners. Not entirely sure where some of all these resources are now going at. More structures. No, now another tank destroyer. No supplied upgrades. No further infantry. Engineers again charging into the mess, getting killed. No, he's going for an observation post. He's getting more munitions. Quite interesting. Not entirely sure why he intends to do that. He's playing as armor. And of course, field repairs as opposed to allied war machine. But again, not necessarily what I recommend. He's also getting fuel. So he's basically relying on some excessive tank destroyer tactics, which is peculiar, if I were to say something. That, of course, is just me. A bit of quiet, in fact, perhaps too quiet. Let's speed this up a bit. And looks like Stein rather, of course, concluding, yeah, no, my opponent's going pretty heavily on the armor business. I might as well prepare. And of course, if he's going tank destroyers, I've certainly got the thing for him. It's called the Flugzeugabwehrkanone. Flugzeug. Abwehrkanone 88. Well, not 88, but never mind, you get it. The Flak 88. Destroyer of American armored dreams. And possibly also aircraft, if any are possible. And there we go. The crack flying away, rifle charging right into this rather solid position. 4 tank destroyers. Rifleman taking some pretty excessive losses in the center. All a bit quiet, and though looks like really DonkeyMonkey, whatever. Funky is laying up for that assault. The one punch. In the meanwhile, we are seeing some barbed wire here. Good use of his Luftwaffe troops, preparing for the assault. Although he's clearly made one slight mistake, he's really not defending his own base, although it looks like tank busters are now ready. And there we go, moving in. Somehow being... Bugger me! Pretty accurate against the infantry. That was quite surprising to see. Honestly, never seen them that accurate. But I suppose for that many tank destroyers, you're bound to get something in. And that, look, rifleman team actually put together. My goodness. More Panzergrenadiers though getting shot up. And another Panzergrenadier team goes down to these roaming Hellcats. Although it looks like one will itself go down. Still, that was quite a few losses. And particularly since one of those was a tank buster team, which means we're actually more expensive in manpower.
Purging reserves are now available.
More Marder fleas. No, that's just the one from the base, but looks like more positions going up, more preparations. I don't usually BM. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Bingo madness. But you are horrible. Oh, come on, Stein. It's not like you're exactly Rommel yourself. So do try to act with a bit of decorum. But armor car in the center. Let's just speed this up a bit. And sort of see where this can go. I mean, really just constantly attacking your opponent's base is not really necessarily the best idea. Although again, the base idea, he's also making another mistake, which again is basically waiting around too long. He's allowing his opponent to sort of dig in, which again is not necessarily the best thing to do. That's the sort of thing you generally want to be careful about. Flak 88 and mass now. Which again is basically going to make it harder for him to actually make an impression, although again, If he was to say, get a mortar, lay down some smoke, and then charge in, he'd probably be able to make his way through. But so far, he's not. So in that sense, he's facing some problems from his own side. Kit Kat sneaking out there rather than watching this point. Sniper's now on the way, apparently hoping to snipe his way through out of this. Clear out any anti-aircraft guns.
Sniper on deck.
Could certainly work, could work. Could also put some infantry pressure on his opponent. Butterfly's bombs going down, though. Reminder, you know, try not to do right in front of your opponent's nose. He'll shoot them down, lessening the effect. Plus, there's the whole, you know, alerting your opponent to the fact there's a minefield right in front of him. Also tends to be less effective. But let's return to Mr. Stein, and let's speed this up again. A bit quiet, you know. Can happen, can happen. But thankfully for that, we do have the fast forward. And there we go, tank destroyer once more rushing into those tank destroyers again. He needs something to clear them out. Sniper sneaking up here.
Ready to pass on order.
Engineers running into a bit of problems. But again, I mean, a mortar I think could have done great here. Other than that, we need to sort of push on. I mean, something to clear the way here, I suppose, could work. Engineers, lead the way. As they do say.
Squad is ready for
I mean, in some senses, this is a pretty unusual game, and I suppose I'm just a bit unsure what to go for. A bit late here, and I have a long day tomorrow, so I can't really cast there. Right from there, taking quite a bit of fire again, walking about in the open in front of without all that much fire. As you might have noticed, that tends to be a less sterling idea. 40 Jägers now joining in. Getting FD-42 snipers hanging about, being all snipery, all dashing, Panther battle group being prepared. And they immediately get sniped. That was less great for him. And Pershing's now running for DonkeyMonkey, but of course he's rather finding out he can't use them again. He simply waited too long, and of course currently, I mean, in a rather rare situation, his opponent's actually prepared a pretty decent defense, using the Luftwaffe, using the Panzer Elite, which generally is rather means you have been sitting about on your hands too much. I mean, again, that's the whole idea of, you know, gathering a force, but you also need to sort of keep up the pressure on your opponent, lest, of course, he basically digs in. And in this case, when he holds this much territory, and more specifically the vital victory points, then it's a pretty damn bad idea. I mean, you sort of have to take these things into consideration. What happens if my opponent digs in? Will I have the tools to dig him out? I mean, he doesn't have a mortars, he has currently no access to smoke or artillery, no calliopes, no nothing that could really actually help him break through a static defense. And that's rather his major issue, and of course, Stein knows he can get away with this. He knows it. And that's also a bit of a problem, because again, DonkeyMonkey in the early sort of opening stage of the game simply lost too bloody much. Way too bloody much. And of course, rushing into a lot of nasty things and getting utterly annihilated. Looks like though he might be setting off for another base assault. Snipers, everything else nasty under the sun moving in. Tank destroyer going down. Luftwaffe troops also might want to consider hanging about. Tank destroyer down. Pershing on the move. Tank destroyers with snipers. Hiccups.
The enemy has fallen to 200 points.
But again, he's clearly laying up for another base assault, figuring this is pretty much his only chance for victory. That is knocking out that bastard Stein by knocking off his head. In this case, his base.
What's the good news? Squad ready.
Because, I mean, this is pretty much a well-prepared position. Butterfly mines, barbed wire, sandbags, cover of otherwise heavy caliber, Flak 88s supporting each other, more or less, at least creating one very, very nasty zone of death. And otherwise, I mean, everyone else, I mean, the only problem, the only real weakness, of course, of Stein87 is his base. It's not as heavily defended. it's not something that can quite as quickly knock out his opponent, in particular because no flak feeling. And of course, Stein is of course feeling because he's seeing all of this near his points. I mean, you don't actually have to be a genius, but of course there's also the fact that is his weakest point. Snipers moving forwards first. Not anti-tank half track. And 2 shots. And looks like the half track got pretty damn lucky. Bit of firing there. Marder actually scores a kill. Quite surprising. Do you have map hack? No, I'm pretty sure he hadn't. He doesn't. Otherwise, he'd probably not have bothered with an anti-tank half track on this. Of course, he's a map hacker and terrible, but I don't think he's that. And no, I don't think he's terrible, but you know, he's clearly not an expert.
An enemy unit has fallen to our right.
Oh well, looks like DonkeyMonkey's a bit upset, and now of course just charging in madly. He probably would have wanted to have the Pershing lead the way, not the much weaker tank destroyers that cannot absorb the firepower, damn you! I mean, a pretty good rule of thumb when you're making an assault, have the thickest thing actually take most of the fire, let the weaker ones do the damage and such. And that's pretty much the end of DonkeyMonkey. I mean, he pretty much threw that one out. So let's just see, that was that. Yes, I know it wasn't quite the caliber of some of the recent games I've had, but you know, it can't always bring out the very, very best, the most exquisite, brutal fighting. Of course, I'd like to, but sometimes, you know, it just doesn't work. But there you go. A quick 1 versus 1, some rather nasty mistakes, some other interesting things. Good uses of basically, you know, Stein identifying he needs to dig in his arse and hold out the assault. Good use of butterfly mines occasionally, although again, dropping that in front of the opponent. Bad, but the major problem for DonkeyMonkey was partly, you know, suffering 2 brutal losses early on, and I mean, basically he was hanging about too much, waiting to actually pull the assault. That's not really a good thing either, but I mean, we saw some really great aggressive harassment right in the beginning. That was great to see, and also mines from DonkeyMonkey, but then sort of fell apart, and then things just kept falling apart for him. He might even want, if just spiced up that Pershing and those tanks or the single German artillery might actually been able to break through, but no. So there you go. Do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.